Did you know data brokers are making billions selling your personal information, usually without your consent? That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
Hey, y'all. As a growing family, my husband and I love game night, especially when it's Wayfair edition.
Let's do it. You gotta name as many Wayfair furniture and decor categories as you can. Ready? Go.
Sofas, bar stools, beds, ottomans, outdoor seating, bookshelves, kitchen tables, garden sheds, mid-century modern lamps.
Time. Nice. You got 9 out of a lot. Not too bad. Keep practicing by visiting wayfair.com, where you can shop every style for every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Smile. I'm your host Dr. Amber Q, and as you would have seen from the title, I'm going to be taking a break. Now this podcast has been going for, 5.5 years I think. Yes, I started mid-August 2020, and during that time, I think I've taken just one break, and that one break was in Ramadan last year. And I'm going to take a break in Ramadan this year as well. And so, God willing, and so what I thought I would do in this episode is I thought it'd be nice to speak about the power of taking breaks, because I like to walk the walk while I talk the talk. And I'm not talking about breaks during the day, but because obviously I'm taking a break for Ramadan, I thought it would be nice to speak about taking time off, whether it's from work. Well, I guess it would be from work normally. And mainly, I guess what I want to speak about is about taking a break that renews you as opposed to relaxes you. Because most people take time off, right? And they might be going on holiday, etc. I know so many people who get stressed on holiday. They either go with, obviously there's certain things that can't be avoided. You know, holiday stress in terms of if your plane is cancelled, if there's an issue at the airport. By the way, I'm following this travel vlogger, and he's so much fun. He is so much fun. He is this Welsh guy, and he's just so much fun. Anyway, I came across him the other day, and I've really been enjoying his vlogs, so I just thought I'd mention that. But the point is that a lot of people, and he did get banned from the US recently, and through no fault of his own. But the thing is that, but let's face it, so many people are getting banned from the US. But anyway, the reason I wanted to speak about this was because, I have a friend as well who gets really stressed before holiday. And it's so funny because I think that, as I said, there's some things that are unavoidable. For example, travel chaos, etc. But basically, I think, to get stressed before something, I find it quite exciting actually before going on holiday. And just having that kind of mental noise when you're on holiday, etc. as well. I don't know, what's the point of that? You might have, I don't know, some photos, a tan, depending on who you are, and a big laundry basket when you get back. But seriously, what is the point of that? So I guess what I want to speak about is, how we should renew ourselves And I think this is a really important thing to discuss. So let's begin. And what I'd like to say is that I'm quite forward thinking. I know it sounds immodest, but I've been speaking about these things for years. And I think that maybe some people are starting to realise, but I don't know if they are. Because let's be honest, when we speak about, hey, let's rest, everyone wants to be sort of, I don't know, really efficient about it, booking a holiday. And then, people also find that they're stressed about the holiday if they haven't planned it adequately, like booking something dodgy, using a weird website, for example, or booking into Airbnb and finding it's not as advertised, etc. Sorry, not that I want to promote that company, but anyway. So it's just that I think, they're kind of the logistics. And some people book, and I've done this in the past myself, where you book a holiday and it's so packed because you've got an itinerary that you don't actually get enough time to rest, because rest is important. But I think relaxation, so we want to speak about different aspects of rest, relaxation, and renewal. And I think my main thing is that a lot of people assume that they're relaxing when they're not relaxing. But we do need rest. And by rest, I actually mean sort of sleep, really, I guess. And the thing is that people may take a holiday break, and the thing is that just taking that break from work, unless you have the right kind of approach, it's not gonna it might be reducing your effort of being at work because you're away from work, but it doesn't restore, your kind of capacity, because there's so many people that take a break from work, but they'll be checking work messages, so they're still kind of on, and maybe they'll be scrolling more than ever with no sort of boundaries, because hey, they're not at work, and they therefore still have that kind of rhythm of just being rushed and doing different things. And so when they return from their break, they still feel anxious, I guess, because they haven't sort of fully, they haven't really fully stopped. And so their holiday / break has been maybe, I don't know, is it even a pause? But it's certainly not a reset, And yeah, so I just thought that it'd be good to speak about renewal, which is what I always speak about with my coaching clients, because, renewal is about sort of resilience. It, changes and helps your stamina, your attention, your mood, and your creativity, so it's really important. And I think that a lot of people, for example, just, when they come home at the end of the day, they will scroll or they will watch TV and they think they're relaxing because they're physically not moving. And yes, in one sense, you're lowering effort, but is it really lowering stimulation? Because obviously you're bombarding the senses. Whereas renewal is totally kind of restoring yourself, so you have more energy and you have more clarity and meaning and connection. So it's about all those things. So renewal doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. It's about doing the right things. So for example, Ramadan is it's such a good time to speak about this, because Ramadan isn't a vacation, right? It's going to be a shift in my routine, in my focus, in what I consume, both sort of in terms of diet and in terms of content, and about what I prioritize. And it's not actually an escape. It's just not alignment, but it's actually realignment. So it's something deeper. So I've already sort of summarized what I'll be doing in Ramadan. And let's just go over that again. So basically, I will be disconnecting from, I was going to say the Matrix, but that sounds quite dramatic. But essentially, I'm going to be I guess getting in tune with I was going to say deeper self, and I'm pausing here because I'm thinking, how deep should I go into this? But I'm going to be certainly watching what I consume. So we know that obviously Ramadan involves, a lot of people know that obviously it involves fasting and abstaining from food and drink. Yes, water. So many people say, and can you not drink water? Yes, we cannot drink water. But it's more than that. It's abstaining from things that really have a negative impact on the soul. So it's abstaining from sort of consuming things that are not good for you, and obviously backbiting and things like that. And also, I'm just kind of glossing over that, otherwise we'll be here forever. But yeah, so it's about watching what you consume, not just food, but also content, how you relate to people, and as well as the spiritual aspect of immersing yourself in the Word of God, the revelation from God, the Holy Quran. And it's really about improving one's, when you come out of Ramadan, it's about raising that baseline, right, of spiritual intelligence, spiritual awareness. I'm just using general terms here. And obviously there are religious aspects to it, which include sort of being forgiven, asking God for forgiveness, and just improving your connection with God, just getting closer to God. And when we think about the fact that if you are taking that break, so what I try to do is to minimize sort of anything that's social and not related to Ramadan, and also just abstaining from, not trying to sort of, hear any curse words, for example, things like that. Just trying to do as many kind of good deeds as I can. And what I find after Ramadan is that obviously you cannot maintain that level of, I don't want to use the word devotion, but post-Ramadan you find that your appetite has reset, you feel healthier, clear of mental fog, your priorities get clearer as well, and your attention and focus is so much better, and you just feel so much better. You have even better creativity. And so, that's how I find that Ramadan is for me. And it's such, oh my gosh, I feel so blessed, and God willing that I will experience it this year. And I think that whatever you're doing, even if it's a weekend, the best thing is to just cut off from things. It's like when you go to sleep. Sleep is going to be sort of the best quality sleep is when you cut out light, so it's completely dark. So similarly, if you're having a break, you want to sort of totally, you don't want to be on a call. You want to you don't want to be doing a little bit of work here and there. You want to just literally kind of cut that work kind of link off, which is hard, I think, these days for entrepreneurs. And also, you want to just give yourself time. And so when I speak about renewal, there's so many things, whether it's drawing, early nights, cooking, doing some sort of analog stuff, as they say, like knitting, crocheting, reading a physical book, just those slow mornings, and walking. I just love walking now without listening to a podcast, without speaking to anyone on the phone, having early nights, and just deliberately being bored, just to get the brain ticking. So there are those sorts of things on the one hand. And then obviously as Muslims, we reconnect with sort of reading matter that's of a spiritual nature, of Islamic nature. And then of course, there's also obviously the fasting, which gives a body reset. But what one could do is, I think everyone knows now in terms of the sleep hygiene, the darkness, not eating before sleep, no screens before sleep, but having those consistent sleep windows, and obviously having sunlight as quickly as you can in the morning when you wake up, and daily movement, and obviously real food. I love the the concept that I was listening to an Islamic scholar about how, our bodies, we are made of clay. And when we pass and we are buried, we return to the earth that we came from. But this is why we need to eat whole foods. This is why whole foods sustain us. And this is why connection with God sustains our spirit, because our soul has come from the unseen world. I love that so much. And so I think, when we look at renewal, isn't that wonderful? Whereas a lot of people will be like, oh, relaxation, let me go shopping, let me watch TV, let me binge watch, I don't know, Netflix and whatever things people do. I've never had a Netflix or any sort of movie kind of subscription, and I won't do that, I don't think, ever. And just because I just don't want to do that. And what was somebody saying the other day about, because your brain goes into, is it alpha waves, where basically you're in a trance-like state and you're absorbing all those subliminal messages that you're giving, that you're being given via these programs. And so the thing is that, we weren't born, and this is why people have so many issues in terms of movement or their bodies, because we're just sitting down all the time, daily life. And I say this all the time, you might be sitting at work, then you come home and you sit on the sofa and you watch TV. It's just that sedentary lifestyle, which is so unhealthy. We know that. And so it's just great. What I'm going to be doing is having a time in nature. I'm going to be journaling. I'm going to be sort of obviously doing my prayers and my contemplation and my spiritual reading. And I'm just going to be doing things with family, doing things with my hands in terms of cooking and maybe some calligraphy, Islamic calligraphy. So it's, it's not sort of, renewal isn't passive, right? It's deeply active, but it's just not sort of performance driven. It's much deeper than that. And it's about giving your body, sort of a beautiful reset. So, it's just wonderful. And I think that it's just going to be really exciting. And I I just thought I would share that with you, because I thought it would be great if you are off for Ramadan as well, or maybe you're just thinking of having a weekend off with no screens. I'm really enjoying being offline these days, really enjoying it. The other day I went to Kew Gardens with a friend and we went to an orchid exhibition there. And it was so beautiful. It smelt so lovely. The colours were so vibrant and gorgeous. And you could hear, they had little sort of water features as well. And so it really enveloped the senses, sight, seeing, hearing, smell. It was just gorgeous. And I think the thing is that you just feel more alive. And I did learn things. I learned about the flora in China. I didn't know orchids were from China. So, shows my ignorance. But it was such a revitalizing experience. And it's great doing things like that rather than just sitting down and watching TV, quite frankly. And so, will you guys miss me? Will you miss me? That is the question, because I won't be disappearing as such. I'm going to be rebuilding my capacity so I can return to you more alive, essentially, more alive. So God willing, I'll be back after Ramadan. And when I return, I will, God willing, share what I've learnt and kind of things that surprised me. So until then, until the next episode after Ramadan, take care of yourself, connect. If you can, take a break that renews you. And create connection with yourself and others. And let's not just change lives, but save lives.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.